Hey everybody, welcome to Speech Bubble. I'm Butch Hartman. Will this episode get a passing grade? What do you think, Mr. Crocker?
It gets an F for fantastic!
All right, guys, welcome back. That was our awesome theme music, and I am just so excited that we're here on Speech Bubble. And Jace, my Boy Wonder co-host.
Yes.
Your hair's looking very tall again today.
Thank you.
Now, I just want to say, I want to set something up for our viewing audience here on YouTube. And those of you, by the way, who are listening on audio can check out our YouTube channel. It's called
Speech Bubble.
Well done, Jace, reading the signs on the wall.
Yes.
Hey, but this is the first time we've been on this side of the camera together, on this side of the table.
I feel very uncomfortable.
Usually you're on that side of the table, and I'm on this side of the table.
Yeah.
But today you're trying to get over to this side. Is this like a takeover you're trying?
I'm trying to get to your awesomeness. I'm trying to just touch greatness.
Well, here in the speech bubble, I'm protected from all people who try to invade. You know that,
Yes.
don't you? Yeah, that in the bubble, no one can get to me. Yeah,
Very
so
true.
just be careful. Just be careful.
Okay.
Anyway, Jace, tell them why we are on this side of the table, because we had to leave that side of the table open for someone. Correct?
Yes.
Who's here with us?
Special guest.
Special guest. Let me try and guess who it is.
Oh, okay.
Let me try. Hold on. Let me try and
There's a
guess.
blind in front of us.
Well, there's really not, but I'm going to
true.
close my eyes.
Okay.
Who could it be? Maybe the person across the table could do a couple voices for me.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And I could try and guess who it is.
Okay.
Maybe our listening audience could try and guess who it is.
Billy
So-
Crystal Ball.
Well, okay, it's, someone does Billy Crystal. Wait, is it Billy Crystal?
It is.
No,
Billy.
it isn't.
Is it
No,
Mike Wazowski?
No, come on.
Is it
Get
Mike
out of it.
Wazowski?
No, it's not Mike Wazowski.
I am so in love with you. Why don't you leave that other little fairy?
Okay, that's Juandissimo. So wait, I'm getting close. If there was one more voice,
I can't think of another one. Mother, I need help. Girlfriend, help me with the voice.
Wait, I'm gonna guess it's Carlos Alazraqui.
You're right.
It's Carlos Alazraqui.
Oh my God. It is me.
He's on the podcast.
There's applause right now.
Oh, we're putting applause here.
My face was in the bubble. Now it's outside of the bubble.
Hey, welcome.
Popped it.
By the way, once you're in the bubble, you can't leave the bubble. Hey, did you bring food? I hope you brought some
I
food.
did. Cloverfield. Let's go. There's a giant creature out there called reality.
All I need is some ID. That's all. Just bring your ID. I need three
I don't
forms.
have some. Ice took it from me.
We need some 3 forms of ID. Hey, Carlos, it's great to see you.
Good to see you, Butch.
Carlos is
Jace,
here.
nice to see you.
Hey.
Jace, nice to, and Jace, by the way, is younger than both of us. Just
combined.
But that means he does. That means
Wait,
combined. He does whatever we tell him to do. But those of you watching on YouTube, listen to us on audio, and those of you listening on audio, you can watch us on YouTube. So check us out. Hey, but Carlos, let me give the audience a little bit of a backstory. How you and I met.
Yes.
Is that cool?
And why?
And why? Like why we met? Because here in Hollywood, you can't just get huge stars like Carlos Alazraqui to come on your podcast unless you kind of know them or they owe you a
Pay them
favor.
the big bucks.
Or
them a big
pay
bucks.
for my gas.
Yeah.
Exactly. Pay for your gas. And so, by the way, that check will be in the mail too.
Thank you.
Yeah, a Chevron card with your name on it. Exactly.
good.
Ooh, thank you, Chevron.
Fancy.
But Carlos is here because Carlos and I actually, he's been on all of my shows. I know he's been on Fairly Odd Parents forever, for like at least 17 years.
Yes.
And then you guested a couple of times on Danny Phantom, I think. Did you come on Danny
I don't know about Danny Phantom, but certainly Tough Puppy.
Tough Puppy for sure. And you were on Bunsen for
And
sure.
Bunsen for sure, yes.
For sure. And we've done some other things. I think, I know we've done countless other things, which I can't even count. Have we done
Yes.
countless other things?
Yeah, if you can't be counted, they are in fact countless.
Exactly. But Carlos, he and I met back in, gosh, it had to be before Fairly Odd Parents even came on, when Family Guy premiered.
Yeah, it was in a studio in Purdue Avenue, there on the west side off Olympic and Bundy.
We met near the Fox Studios because
Yes.
they were recording Family Guy.
Yes.
And originally, I had been the voice of, care to guess? Who would you care to guess? Who was
There's
I?
a character named after you. You're
Yeah,
Dr.
no,
Goodman.
that's not who I was.
I shall call
And then
you.
Mr. Weed or something?
Mr.
Yes.
Yeah.
I should
Okay.
call you Eduardo.
Again, like I said, you don't get far in Hollywood unless you know people. I actually knew Seth MacFarlane. He gave me the part of Mr. Weed. Mr. Weed. He talked like he was a Latino man, like this.
Yes, Portuguese.
And Carlos came in and did it way better. Do your Mr. Weed.
I shall call you Eduardo. Peter, you're fired. I assure you, Miss Ironbox, this will not happen again.
And I would say, Peter, you're fired. I assure you, Miss Ironbox, this will not happen.
Not much difference, except I had the surname Carlos.
Yeah, he had
Surname Carlos goes a long way.
Yeah, exactly.
Were
But
you actually on the show? Or
I did.
audition?
I did the pilot episode as Mr.
Okay.
Weed.
And then you...
Seth didn't fire me, but he goes, yeah, this guy Carlos is replacing him. I'm like, great, who's that guy?
Yeah.
But instead of getting mad at Carlos
Yes.
and not liking Carlos, I said,
Yes.
hey, Carlos, would you come be on my show?
Yes.
That just started.
I was really fortunate. That really happens in Hollywood where somebody will reach out like that. And it was Billy Crystal, I think, was the first voice. And
You came on. I was doing an episode of Fairly Odd Parents called The Zappies because I thought it would be the last episode of Fairly Odd Parents ever.
Really?
I did. It was one of our pilot episodes. I did like 10 short cartoons. and it was called the Zappies, and Billy Crystal Ball was the host of the Zappies.
Yes.
And you came in, and what did you do? What was the
I got in the neighborhood. I remember at that point I was not very good at Billy Crystal, and I said, well, Butch wants me to do Billy Crystal. Let me do a little bit of research. And so it was like,
Hey, everybody, attention. It's going to be the Zappies and Cosmo and Wanda, something like that. And it was okay.
and then subsequently, because two things happened. Butch recruited me to do the Fairly Odd Parents, which is wonderful, but also in an indirect way, it led to me trying again for Billy Crystal for all the Mike Wazowski stuff. And had it not been for that being on my radar, I don't suppose I ever would have had the confidence to do it.
And of course, I landed a job and subsequently got better. And ironically, never brought the character back. I'm better at it now. Why not now, Butch? Why does that have
What's great, no, because we did. I had you do Billy Crystal Ball. I think we kind of talked it out in the room that day. I was like, it's a little more up here, like this, like Mike Wazowski. It was sort of like in that area, I think.
Yeah.
A little bit. Actually, wait, Monsters Inc. didn't even come out. FOP came out before Mike Wazowski.
Yes.
This was like just straight up Billy Crystal you were doing.
Yeah, it was. So it's lower.
Yeah,
so,
lower like this. Yeah.
You know, I happened to go to the Robin Williams Memorial, and he was the host,
And the Glide Memorial Choir came out, and they were like, "Oh, you guys everybody, ooh, ha, la, 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 oh, hee." Billy Crystal leans over the podium. He goes, "You know what? I'm converting." That's
You
his
know what?
timing.
I just made that up.
I'm
I
converting.
just made that
Off
up.
the top of my
Off
head.
the top
Comic
of my head, I
relief.
made it up. So when you say the Mike Wazowski stuff, you weren't in Monsters Inc. But what Mike Wazowski stuff did you do?
all the ancillary toys and/or games.
And Disneyland, weren't you on the ride at Disneyland?
Yeah,
Is that
I
you?
got the guy like 5 more minutes in line. Just text your jokes in. Ed the boy, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, how about a hand for Roz? Everybody had a good time.
I was in London, right, in 2008.
We're talking like this in London.
I was.
Time
I had
you
a
were
cab
there.
driver. It's like, we go to Disney World every summer. We go to Disney World, and I says to the guy, "Did you go on that ride, the monster?" "Oh yeah, we love that ride." At the end of the ride, did Billy Crystal at the end of the show say something like,
Everybody had a good time except for the guy in a baseball hat.
He goes, "Oh my gosh, that was me! How did you know?"
And I said, well, here's a little secret.
And I told him, and he was like flabbergasted. Still didn't. We still had to pay for the ride, but he was flabbergasted, beside himself.
Has Billy Crystal heard your impression of him?
No, and there was a chance after
He
the
listens
movie.
to Speech Bubble. He just might.
Yeah.
There
He's
was
one of our listeners.
Speech, but he does?
Oh yeah, all the
Oh
time.
yeah.
Oh, there you go.
biggest fan.
I apologize. You were fantastic.
He's never heard you do Mike Wazowski.
No, I met him after a movie. Maybe it was Inside Out. He had attended that movie, and I just said I enjoyed you on The Dreamers with his show with Josh Gad.
Josh Gad.
Oh,
We'll
yeah,
be right
yeah.
back.
Gash. John Gash is in the.
By the way, let's send this right to Josh Gad right
Yeah,
now.
Josh
He's going to
Gad.
love this podcast.
And he said, thank you. He's also a Clipper fan.
Oh,
so
thanks very
no,
much.
I don't think he's ever heard me do it.
He goes to
I have the
spring
feeling
training.
nobody wants to hear you do them for less money. Oh, you're the guy that does me for less money.
Yeah.
Can you do an impression of another person, Butch Hartman? Have you ever tried that? Is it possible?
Another person doing Butch Hartman?
No,
Can
dude.
you do Butch Hartman?
Well,
do you have a Butch
Okay, actors, let's go do your lousy work. I know I could do it better, but let's begin the cartoon.
Hartman? Perfect.
I wouldn't say it exactly like that, but something
You're thinking
like
that. You don't say it like
What
that.
I love about Carlos is he can do anything. Number one, super talented, amazing, and what I love is when we first met, you came in to do, and when you came in to do Mr. Crocker. Well, before we do that, one of my favorite things that we always do to get Mike Wazowski started in the room when we record, I'll always say, all right, Wazowski, at 12 noon, the scare floor will be what?
Painted?
No, empty, you idiot. That
was it.
It's my favorite line. Yeah.
That's the thing about Butch. He's a thesaurus of movie quotes that he's just like, you can't keep up with him. It's
Put
like,
that
I
thing
don't-
back where it came from.
So help me. So help me, Ed, cut.
The first time anyone will ever hear Mike Wazowski harmonizing with himself.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Carlos also, we're going to get to the cartoon stuff in a sec, but Carlos also did the Taco Bell dog. He did the
Yeah,
Taco-
very famous
Chihuahua.
back in the. Yo quiero Taco Bell. Viva Gorditas. Thank you, Terry Berland, for that direction.
Now, what did when was that out? It was like early 2000s. Right?
97 to 2000 was the running dates of all of those. I did some
5 years you were a Taco Bell Chihuahua.
Well, 3 years inclusive, which is almost 5, right? 97 to 2000. If you include wrap around both years, you're right. Yeah.
to me, it's 5 years, but whatever you say.
I'll take it.
Sounds like 5 years to me.
50 something spots, English and Spanish, merchandise. It bought a house in the valley for me. It was the most surreal level of fame I've ever had because the onus was on me to prove it. Like somebody could say, "That's my friend Carlos. He's the Taco Bell Chihuahua," and then I tap 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 tap. How do we know? Oh, okay, here we go. Drop the chalupa. Oh yeah. Like nothing until it came out. They wouldn't like. I would lie about that.
Exactly. Did you meet your wife because of the Taco Bell Chihuahua?
No, she was still in preschool during that day. I was quite little. No,
That's
she was
a little
15.
creepy. Explain, please.
Yeah,
Please
yeah.
explain
My
what
wife
that
is
is.
19 and a half years younger than I am.
Wow, Jace
and
is
taller.
same with Jace with me. He's 19 and a half years younger than me.
Yeah, well,
but not married.
Not
no,
married.
you're not married.
Not married yet.
Not
Maybe
married
soon.
yet. Soon.
Okay, never mind.
No, get out.
Continue.
Do you, Jace Steele, take this man, Butch Hartman, to be a lovely wedded, whatever you know.
Yeah, the marriage bubble. We met after in a one-man show in 2004. We'll get into
Your wife
that.
was in a one-man show? She's on a man?
She
How'd that
came
work?
to the one-man show that I
she
did.
came to the one-man show.
And we met there, and then it just sort of blossomed and formulated and percolated. And next thing I know, she's living in my house, and it's a David Byrne song. How did it get there? Is this my beautiful wife? And the days go by. Water running down. Yeah. And so that's how we met.
Letting the days go by.
And the days go by. Ross, you're running on the ground.
All right, Wazowski, where's your
Jeez,
time
Ross.
card?
Did I say you look beautiful today, Ross? I was lying.
Schmoopsy poo.
Schmoopsy.
Googly Bear. It was Googly Bear, right?
Oh yeah,
It's called
Googly Bear.
Kitty.
Yeah. Oh, you're
Speaking of kitty, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
no. Speaking of Pixar, you mentioned Inside Out.
Yes.
You were in Inside Out.
I was
as
the
well.
dad. Was very close to my
You were the
James
dad?
Garcia.
I didn't know that.
Dad's Fear.
Yeah.
Dad's
Oh,
Fear.
Dad's Fear. Nice.
The one that said,
Hands down.
say something like I'm detecting a high level of sass. The foot is down. The foot is down. Woo! And I was also the Brazilian smoldering pilot. Come, fly with me, gatinha. That was me.
And both of those parts were also in the trailer, so it was like the first voices we heard.
You were
Yeah.
also in the trailer for Bug's Life. You were the
First
ant.
thing, I'm lost. I can't find the trail.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
lost.
That was you.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
See, Jace is freaking out because he grew up with these shows because
Oh,
he's like
wow.
12.
Pixar's, yeah.
Yeah, great. Jace grew up
Well,
watching.
Pixar and Fairly Odd Parents, so you got
That's
Right
right.
at the
Best
same
of both
time.
worlds right there.
And that was lucky because I was in a looping group for all of the Pixar films.
Now,
So-
now explain to the audience.
A
what
looping group
what is
is
the
where
looping group?
you're not really part of quote unquote the regular cast of characters. You're coming in to fill in background voices and some ancillary characters that may have one or two lines.
Mm-hmm.
And the Brazilian pilot only had one line. The dad had about 6 or 7 lines. And so
No, are these parts that they, and even I should know this, but I never used looping groups on Fairly Odd Parents. We would do ADR all the
Mm-hmm.
time, which is after automatic dialogue replacement, which is a long story. A whole podcast on that. But would they already have the part animated for you? Like the Pixar guys would have the part animated that you come fill it
they
in?
would have the
Like
storyboards
scratch
up.
voices.
And
And have a scratch voice in there like an
what
animated
happens in loop groups is that you have several males and several females to sort of round out the possibility of any character. We need a Boston accent. We need a female that can do a New York accent, etc. And so when you do a looping group, 3 or 4 people will audition, quote unquote, for the same role. So 2 other people went up and did, I'm lost, I can't find the trail. And I just thought, let me do my take. We come back a month later and John Lasseter's there and we're looking at, he goes, hey, we got this animated, check it out. And I say, I'm lost. And he goes, do you have any idea who that is? I'm like, I don't know. He goes, that's you. And I was like, oh, that's me. You picked me. So it's kind of a weird way of getting a job. You're not certain. And it's also kind of odd that you're quote unquote auditioning in front of your peers after they've done it or before they've done it. And they're all just watching like, I can do it better.
And actors are so supportive of each other.
Oh, yes.
Which is great. Actors aren't jealous. Or
Talk
hate
about
each other at all.
actor bubble. I hate that guy.
Do you record it in Emeryville for the Pixar part?
No, you know the line. Come fly-
Emeryville. That sounds like
Emeryville.
that's like,
Sort of Pixar
I'm the
animation.
sheriff of Emeryville.
Emeryville. It used to be a sleepy little.
You come on down to Emeryville. You
come
better
on down to
behave
Emeryville,
yourself.
Dodge.
That's right.
Emeryville is right
Come on
across
down
the bay.
to Emeryville, everyone.
Emeryville is hopping now. That's where the headquarters are for Pixar. For the Come Fly With Me Gatinha line, I originally said Gatina because it's Ghatina, and I thought I didn't know Portuguese, so I said Come Fly With Me Gatina, which is gato in Spanish. So they loved it, but then they said, oh, the Brazilians in our office said you have it wrong, so you have to fly to Pixar. Have to. Of course, they paid for it. I got a tour and. I think
You know
I brought
what? Make a note. We need to get some Brazilians in here. We need some Brazilian people in the speech bubble for sure.
And they informed me that it was Gatinha. So for the one line, I flew down to Emeryville to do it.
They flee for see that's movie money right there.
There we
That
go.
is.
Right there.
I like. I
And
could have done it.
we barely got them to Calabasas
Yeah.
for free today, and they're paying him to fly him to Emeryville.
And then they
Well,
paid for my gas.
You know, when you come on down to Emeryville, you better watch yourself.
Come on down to Emeryville. Right across the bay from San Francisco and 20 years behind.
Emeryville, I'll tell you something. I got some good memories about Emeryville. Hey, so anyway, anyway, let's get to what everyone's wanting to know about.
Yeah.
Screaming, dying.
That's exactly right. But our relationship
Is that beam off? No.
Is the beam off? Did they remove it with the construction? The guy goes, "Can I remove a beam real quick?" We're like, "Sure." He's out there with a forklift and two guys with like saws and like just about to start the podcast.
Butch said, "How long will it take? How long is your podcast?"
Down in Emeryville, we would remove this really quick, but up here,
different story.
Anyway, I tweeted out some questions earlier, but I have airplane mode on, so I don't have any.
I can ask those, but just continue.
Let me continue with. Okay, let me continue with the Fairly Odd.
Fairly Odd Parents.
Now, you and I had you come on Fairly Odd Parents. I had this character. We were doing the first 6.5 hours, and we had to give Timmy because the network, the original pilot, and a few episodes after that they focus tested. It was just Timmy, Cosmo, and Wanda in Timmy's house with Vicky.
Yeah.
That was the primary story. But when the network said we're going to pick it up for a series, we want you to expand the characters.
Yes.
We were like, we got to put Timmy in school.
In school.
So who are we going to give him? Who's his foil at school? Who's the bad guy? And we're like, well, I know. How about some crazy teacher who wants to hunt for fairies? I was a big fan of Splash at the time. And Eugene Levy, how he's in that movie trying to prove Daryl Hannah's a mermaid.
That's right.
And he's always throwing water on the girl and everything, trying to prove she's a mermaid.
Eugene Levy from Second City Television.
Exactly. That's him. What a week I'm having.
Bobby Bittman.
That's him.
How are ya?
But anyway, I was like, I want to base this guy on Eugene Levy, and I drew Mr. Crocker, who I came up with. But we hadn't had a voice for him. And I remember when we auditioned a bunch of guys, and we had some of the top guys in the business, including you. And you came in. I'll never forget. Do you remember your audition for Mr. Crocker? What you did? Because
You probably know more.
I remember.
I think I've always told people there was a mixture of Richard Dreyfuss, Gene Wilder, and a little bit of Montgomery Burns. I don't remember the original audition beyond that.
But and why would you? But I mean, I don't. It was funny because when you came in, you said, "I want to do a little bit of Richard Dreyfuss."
Yes.
And then you mixed it with Gene Wilder.
And a little bit of Montgomery Burns.
Yeah.
Oh, Timmy Turner. I know what those are. They're fairies! and that's the way I recollect it, but you may
now
have
there's applause. We're putting applause in right here. Tons of applause. No, but that's what was so great. And I started seeing what an insane lunatic you were.
Yes.
And I started going, when I would go and storyboard the character, whenever you said fairy godparents, I wanted you to pop from like position to position. Like,
ears would pop
fairy
off.
godparents!
Yeah.
And that became his trademark.
Yes.
Even when we did the live action movies, the guy who played Mr. Crocker in the live movies, which sadly wasn't you, it was another guy. But we would pose him. We would have a camera above him and pose him on the floor.
Oh, that's
And he would
great.
do like different poses. We would
Oh,
pop
that's
him back
wonderful,
and
yeah.
forth.
So that was inspired by Carlos's voice.
Oh,
That
big
wasn't
time. No,
originally
Carlos
the
inspired.
character.
There would be no Mr. Crocker without Carlos, obviously.
Yeah.
And we first did like your first couple of Mr. Crockers. You were down here the whole time, and you were doing that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's because we were only gonna have him in one episode.
Right.
But you were so funny, not only in the voice part of it, but being in the room part of it. And a lot of voice actors don't realize this. Explain this. When you come into a room, it's not just the voice you bring, but it's the
physicality. It's the idea.
It's
of the
also
character.
the quickness in the room too. Like
Yeah,
adding
you had to
jokes.
keep up. Yeah, you had, at that point, you had Tara and Dara and Suzanne Blakesley, and you got these pros, and you're like, I got to keep up with these guys. So I was definitely being pulled into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and thank you for allowing us to actually inform the characters a little bit, because sometimes you go into audition for somebody and they have something in mind, and you try something and they're like, nope, I want this. So this was generally an environment that Butch allowed us to get to this guy, because I had my own ideas. I don't know if you ever envision the rage and the craziness.
I would never want to hear your ideas.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear anything you
Butch
have.
Hartman, not hearing ideas since 1962. Listen, I don't get any ideas at my house. You don't get any ideas. I live with three women. So
In fact, the Butch Hartman you just did. In fact, you played another character on Fairly Odd Parents. You were the mayor.
the mayor. That's right.
Yeah.
Chompy's gone.
And exactly. What was your warm up for the mayor? Would you have to do the mayor's
Butch
voice?
Hartman, a director's friend. Yeah, it was.
He's an actor. Butch Hartman talks to the actors.
In order to get the actors' self-esteem at an all-time low, Butch will pester them. But no, that was a really wonderful experience to be able to just like, I'm going to try this crazy idea, and Butch goes, let's hear it, and it's like, oh, and for him to recognize that it worked. And it was such a strong character that the writers, Scott Fellows at the time, and then our good friend
Ray De
Laurentiis, they started to write, and Kevin
Sullivan.
Kevin
And Will Schifrin, yeah.
Will Schifrin, they all started to write these crazy ideas. And I think that's why he survived, because when Timmy's friends sort of became more of the backdrop of the cartoon, I was surprised that Crocker could sustain it because.
Oh God! Well, the thing about Crocker was he was so funny. We started making him the main villain, to much to the chagrin of Gray Delisle, who was Vicky.
Vicky?
And we as much as we loved Gray, we kept kind of moving Vicky to the side because Mr. Crocker was so funny. Then we teamed up Crocker with Foop and with the great Eric Bauza and Kevin Michael Richardson as the losers.
Just to work with those three, just to work with all those people mentioned is just pretty special. But Crocker was it's interesting. He's an aging man. It's a bit of Norman Bates' relationship with his mother. He's got a girlfriend that's a cat. It's just he's a sad character and a lot of fun.
Speaking of cats, can you hear that? Can you hear that?
Yes.
Nick on Twitter asks, "Does Crocker's scream ever hurt your throat?"
Oh yeah,
it always sounds so painful.
I always used to say that to the writers because they would write whole episodes where it was just Crocker and his
We'd
mother.
have like 3 pages of you and his mother. You also do Crocker.
No, Denzel!
Crocker's
Get
mother.
away from me, mother! How dare you! I'll talk to you any way I want. And I'm like, what are you doing, you old bat? Yeah, you old bat! There's a rocket ship in the kitchen. Well, get on it and blast off. Oh yeah, I always used to say a little bit of Crocker goes a long way, but I never shied away. I was like,
I think the one that cracks up Darren Norris the most. He puts him in tears is when you do the Crocker dance and you kind of hum. Can you do that a little bit?
Yeah, there was a scat. Like for some reason, the writers had.
No, we just say Crocker hums as he walks along. That's all we did.
And I left that on Darren's voicemail when he was in Hawaii filming the movie, and he said that brought tears of joy. So wonderful to play such a sad old man. This is such a sad old man.
One of my favorite lines you ever did was, "Thanks for letting me stay up past my bedtime, mother."
My favorite was when he's falling out of the second story of a school window.
No, it wasn't the second. It was the first story. He
First
just fell
story.
out of the window.
Paul is like, who dug this well? Yeah.
Because you fall for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then, so you did Mr. Crocker, Crocker's mom.
Yes, Denzel, I did.
And then you would also do another character of Fairly Odd Parents who was in love with Wanda.
Juandissimo.
That's right.
Leave him. Wanda for me.
Wanda for me.
One kiss.
And my shirt and your shirt would pop off all the time because you're so very sexy.
Very sexy, Wanda. I can't help it. My buttons burst open.
Wanda,
Yeah.
and every
You
time,
know the lines better than I do.
Every time Wanda would hit Juandissimo, you would yell some sort of Mexican food.
Enchilada.
You would say, "Carne asada."
Chile relleno. Carne asada. That was all you. That was all the writing and just being
I
able to
take
play.
full credit for the genius.
Oh, yeah,
of course.
absolutely.
Yeah, I just had you.
And that's the thing about Butch. He could do every voice on the show.
No, I imitate every voice on the show. He
yeah.
created all the voices. I just imitate them on occasion in a bad way.
But it shows how much you invested in it. You really knew where you wanted to go with all these characters. But it wasn't like parrot me. It was like, I have some ideas for this. And they were usually on par. It meant that you understood the characters and what we brought to. And it was kind of a fun
big
experience.
time.
But, it was tough love with Butch Hartman. If you're a beginner and you go with Butch Hartman, that's just Butch.
People go crazy.
There. He does it to us too. Roll the tape. Carlos, what are you doing? Oh my gosh.
By the way, this whole podcast is a rehearsal. By the way, this isn't the final podcast.
This doesn't
as you
go
know.
on the internet
No.
at all.
By the way, if you hear the drilling outside, there's
Hopefully
a
they can.
mad dentist next door. He works on King Kong's teeth.
I can distinctly remember like riffing a line. I'm like, oh, okay. 5 times 5 is 27. Butch, okay, Carlos, let's just do that one as written this time. Yes, Mr. Hudson.
Okay, sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to find some fan questions.
The,
but almost all of them are, "Hey, do you fairies?"
Yeah.
That's all they are?
Interrupt their own questions.
That's all they
with
are.
Fairies. Yeah, that's most of them.
But it's neat to have a character with a catchphrase that is
Yeah, that's iconic.
popular. It's,
Yeah.
I go
it's
to cons and people with fairies, or can you do Mr. Crocker? And I'm like, not very much longer. Give me after lunch, maybe with a couple of lozenges.
Have you seen people dressed as Mr. Crocker
Yes,
at the cons?
Pensacola.
Easy costume to pull off. You got to have that face,
Yeah.
the Crocker face. If you don't have the Crocker face, it doesn't work.
Even girls dressing up as Crocker.
Yes.
So he's pretty popular. He goes both ways. So,
Yeah, there you go.
Butterfly net helps.
Yes,
You have
I've
that
seen
on
butterfly
there.
nets,
Yeah.
little fairy catchers.
nets,
It's
yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah, it's
And
flattering.
Crocker's great because he has the Crocker cave.
Yes.
Right? And he has a cat named
Girlfriend! I'm the Falcon! That was great when he got to be
I'm
a
the
security.
Falcon. Call me.
What was that one? I see something. I see a better party going on next door or something like that. What was it? Oh, this party has a dolphin.
I forget what that one was. I'm
He's attending a party and he's just overjoyed about what they have at the party.
Oh, there's a unicorn.
There's a unicorn.
It farts rainbows.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a good one. And that was when Chloe first showed up. And then we also had to. Can you do girlfriend's voice too? I want to hear girlfriend again.
And the,
How did she come about on this?
I love you, girlfriend. He's just like this hairless cat that looks like it's.
Well, Crocker, the deal was Crocker never had a girlfriend for real ever. We gave him one episode or two where he actually dated somebody, I think, but it turned out, of course, horribly and miserably.
Yes.
But he was like, I don't have a girlfriend, but I do have a cat named Girlfriend. A hairless cat, you know.
Yeah. It's just that added to his patheticism. The fact that he still lived with his mom, didn't have a girlfriend, but he had a hairless
Exactly.
cat.
So you did the mayor, you did Mrs. Crocker.
I did Chompy.
Chompy the goat. There you go. Chompy's gone.
Chompy's gone.
That was one of the first episodes we ever did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. And then we did obviously Mr. Crocker, which is spectacular. Juandissimo. And people don't know this. You did a couple of other voices for me on a couple other shows. Like you were on Tough
one of my
Puppet.
favorites was the Snarcher.
Oh, on Bunsen.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, Bunsen's a beast. Well, here's what I love about the Snarcher, because the script was there's a beast that will take your cat, and if you're good, he will replace it with an identical cat.
Cat, yeah.
But if you're bad, he'll take your cat and replace it with the same cat.
Yeah.
And his name was the Snarcher. And he had one. He didn't have any lines.
No.
And you were there, and I was like, we gotta give this guy a line. I'm like, Carlos, let's think of a voice for this guy. And we were talking about. We had just seen Inside Out.
Yes.
And I said, remember that guy, Richard Kind? Richard Kind, who kind of played, who was the guy?
Bing Bong.
Bing Bong.
Yeah,
Played Bing Bong. And Richard, and I was like, can you do that? And then I'm like, Mikey goes, get out of here, Snarcher. And do you remember what you said?
No need to yell.
Yeah. That's when it ended, right?
And no, it floored everybody. And we're like, we got to bring that guy back. And do you have any advice for actors out there who are trying to not only make it in the business, but how do you stay in the business?
Oh, boy.
Like, that's a perfect example right there, because you came up with something in the room that made us all laugh.
I think it's being free, working and training, all those years of training, being free enough to just be free and go with your gut. And that's how you stay in there. Even if it's the wrong decision, next time it might be the right decision. So it's being persistent as well. You know, you read tons of copy before you get that next job, and you try different things. And D had a really interesting... D Bradley Baker, who's every creature in the world, along with Fred Tatasciore and, of course, Frank Welker. But D's amazing, and he's...
when I first met D, believe it or not, I was an actor, and I was in an audition for a Bud Light commercial. And I'm waiting out in the room with all the actors, and everyone starts talking, and everyone goes, D, sing the Star Spangled Banner with your mouth closed.
Oh, wow.
And he sings the Star Spangled Banner with his mouth closed. Yeah. If you can picture that. I can't even do it. He goes,
I can say words.
I can't even do it, but he sounds perfect.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He's a freak of nature.
He had a great advice that it doesn't always work. He was auditioning for The Fish, Klaus, I think it is, on American Dad, and they wanted a French actor, and he just had the presence of mind going, listen, I'm better at German, and I don't want to give you less than my best, so I'm just going to try German. And he got the part. It's not always that glorious, but it is advice. Go with your gut, trust. And if the director still wants you and directs you another way, then didn't say, okay, fine, they didn't want that. It's being patient, it's being professional, it's taking risks. All those lead to a long career, I think.
It's not being a prima donna, too.
Yeah, being professional, just showing up and do the job. There's sometimes... you're not going to have the happiest sessions. There's a lot of repetition. But
I want to say something about you. That's a huge compliment, and I just want to praise you.
Oh, please go ahead.
Absolutely. But like we were talking about with the Mr. Crocker audition, you walked in with a choice. You came in with an idea.
Yes.
I'm going to combine this guy with this guy and just kind of see what I can do. And it was like, wow, this guy made a choice.
Yes.
When you walk in as an actor, make a choice, because me as the producer, I've probably been sitting there for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Back in the old days anyway. Nowadays you listen to everything on MP3s. They send them to you online. But you sit there for hours, and the one person that can light it up and have a break in your day, you're like, that's the guy. That's why I cast Jeremy Rowley as Bunsen, because he came in and was so different.
Oh, yeah, with the high voice.
Yeah, Jeremy's voice.
Me, Bunsen.
Yeah, crazy. But and super funny. Super funny improv guy.
Great improviser from the Groundlings. But yeah, it is coming up. And sometimes as an actor, your ideas just aren't there. And sometimes they are.
Never.
Sometimes you'll read a character and I have no beat on this character at all. But the concept of Fairly Odd, with its boards, with its comedy, made it easier for us to have an idea, plenty of ideas of where we would go. Some cartoons are so just rote and so kind of stale that no matter what you bring, it just doesn't feel right. But this Crocker felt like he could exist in this world.
I have notes. There's one very important character I forgot to mention on Fairly Odd Parents that you do, and it's Dad's arch enemy.
Oh, yeah. Hey, neighbor.
Dinkleberg.
Which is so different from the mayor. The mayor's here and he's here.
Oh, yeah. much
No,
cheery version.
no, what's
yeah.
cool about Dinkleberg, that came out because Carlos was in the room doing Mr. Crocker, and I was like, yeah, can you do Dinkleberg? And he did this great voice. I was like, well, you're Dinkleberg. Ding, I dubbed thee Dinkleberg.
But again, it was a
have a
choice that
sector
was
and
kind of set up. He's this over cheerly neighbor that's like a Hugh Beaumont guy. Oh, hey, neighbor, I mowed my lawn.
Yeah, yeah.
1950s kind of.
And the thing we did with him was like I wanted to make Dad have this arch enemy who never did anything to him.
No.
He was just the nicest guy.
I
but
put
Dad,
gas in your car and I bought your groceries.
You get out of here, you demon with a human face.
But you mentioned before the podcast that there was one episode where he is actually a villain, and at the end it's revealed he is.
We did one called, you probably don't remember, called
gosh, I don't.
Operation Dinkleberg, where Dad finally realizes Dinkleberg is a villain.
like
and
a
then
true evil.
and then he gets
super villain.
Yeah, yeah. Then you get caught, and Dad like sneaks over to Dinkleberg's lair, and it's like shaped like a giant intestine or something. my intestinal lair, and he is my it wasn't his fortress. It wasn't his. I think it was his intestinal fortitude or something. I forget about that. But he's in his lair, and then Dad, I knew he was evil. I knew it. And Dad leaves, and Timmy goes, Mr. Dinkleberg, I didn't know you were really evil. He goes, oh, I'm not really evil, Timmy, but I knew it meant the world to your dad to think I was evil.
Perfect.
So nice.
Perfect.
Yeah, but Dinkleberg, I mean, I think right there, that should be, I don't know what does the audience think out there? Do they like Dinkleberg better or Mr. Crocker? I think Dinkleberg's pretty funny.
I think Mr. Crocker's.
We
dad
teamed
had a
him up
kind of
once. We
line.
teamed up Dinkleberg and Mr. Crocker once. You probably don't remember that either.
I don't know.
It's like a Mr. Crocker almost. We did one where it was based on a Alfred Hitchcock movie, Strangers on a Train, where Dinkleberg, Crocker comes to Dad and says, "I'll tell you what, you take out my arch enemy, and I'll take out
yes.
your arch
Your
enemy."
enemy.
So Dad told Crocker to take out Dinkleberg.
Yes.
So in your efforts to take out Dinkleberg, you become friends with Dinkleberg.
He's a great guy.
He's a great guy. It's like because Dinkleberg like saves you from getting hit by a car or something
Yeah.
like that. It's like, who are you? Oh, just a fellow onion lover who saves people from getting hit by cars.
Fellow onion lover.
Yeah, it's a long explanation, but it's pretty funny. So and also you also do other cartoon characters on Nickelodeon. Now, who else do
Yes,
you
I
do?
started out with Rocko on Rocko's Modern Life.
I was Rocko. He's my very first cartoon. And that was another audition where
They didn't want an Australian. I was with Joe Murray, George Maestri, and Nick Jettings, who now is over at Cartoon Network. And by the way, Rocko's coming back. Static Cling sometime in 2018. We think after Comic-Con in
It's called
July.
Rocko Static Cling.
it's called Rocko's Modern Life, Static Cling. It's a
It's a 44-minute film.
Oh my
We
goodness.
saw it at the premiere. It's really good, and I think
Oh, it's already done?
old Rocko
Oh, wow.
fans are gonna love that. It's really loyal to the original Rocko, and new fans of the show I think are gonna really love it. But
Rocko was my first voice. And
actually, Spunky was I got the part with Spunky. Crazy dog.
Spunky, bad dog.
We have the Spunky plush in your office.
I have
From the Nick
there's a
box,
Spunky
the
plush
first
in
Nick
it.
box.
Yes,
I didn't know what I was doing. They didn't want
I
Australian.
set it on fire, just so you know.
Oh, what?
yeah. I'm joking. I didn't do that.
No wonder I felt it.
I would never do that.
I would
Like a voodoo
never,
doll.
never. Why?
I said never. Oh, Mike
I hit
Wazowski.
things. You're my circle of
Yeah,
trust.
that's what I'm saying. That's it.
Thanks. So I did this audition. I got Rocko, and then I went on to do
Winslow and Cat Dog. Hey, Cat Dog. Hey, how's it going? You're stuck inside.
He was really mean.
So all the bad cartoons. That's
All-
fine. Yeah,
all the bad
All the
cartoons.
bad cartoons.
But
That's good.
I never.
Until Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah, Crocker's the antithesis of Rocko, and that's what I love about him.
Rocko's just so sweet and like, guys, settle down.
And Crocker, what do you mean, settle down? So
Don't tell me to settle down, mother.
don't tell me to settle down, you kangaroo.
I'm a wallaby.
Whatever. I hate your pouch.
You're from Australia. You're poisonous.
You're poisonous. You're lethal. So yeah, I did Rocko, and I did now I'm at Loud House. I play Carlos Casagrande, and that's kind of a nerdy dad, which I kind of am. So it's not too far from my real voice.
There we go.
Science is really important. Dad, you're so dull. I'm trying to think what else I did on Tough Puppy. I did some villains. I think I did one Scottish villain for you, if I recall. I'm not sure.
I think you did a Scott for me as well. I can't remember who he was. And then,
Can't even remember, but
and then you did one. You did the stink bug. Yeah, the stink bug.
Yeah, the stink bug.
The stink bug. You were like, hey, you want to drive? I stink at driving. You stink at everything.
You stink. You stink.
You stink at that.
You stink at
I
that.
can't do
which is
that.
a bassier Winslow. And that's the thing for actors, too. Is you can produce characters in different octaves.
Because Rocko was like this, right? And then I was Spyro the Dragon, like, watch out for Nasty Nork. And then I was Laszlo.
And they all kind of dance around in that same octave. But
And
if
you also did a guy in SpongeBob like, yeah, dude.
Yeah, SpongeBob, you ripped your pants. What's going on?
Jace is totally nerding out right now.
Yeah.
No, all of these.
He's
are
so
awesome.
cool.
It's
Do you want some
crazy.
cereal?
Yeah, sure.
I'm watching TV.
Yeah, just put on like a box. I'm good. Yeah.
I'm watching TV with Carlos. Okay.
Yeah, but I've been very fortunate to be able to just keep going and do animation and see what's next. Now I'm doing some Disney stuff. Skylar and Elena Vavalor and
Wow, Wubsy.
Wow. Oh, yes. I did all the male voices on that show, which is why they all sounded the same. I'm the mailman. I'm the fireman. They were all Dinkleberg.
You know what's funny about that? Bob Boyle created that show. He used to work with me, and I know that everybody that worked with me stole all my voice actors. So yeah, I know that's where he found
They
it.
pilfered.
They did.
Yes.
I know Scott Fellows.
You were a
did.
public storage of voices.
I certainly am, and music people, because Scott Fellows, who did Big Time Rush, took my music guy Guy Moon. He's like, "Hey, let's working for Fairly Odd Parents. Want to do my music as well?" But Guy Moon's amazing, yeah. So
Yeah.
Hey, but anyway, weren't you on Big Time Rush as well?
I was on Big Time. I played their photographer, Marcos, I think.
That's an
One
on-
camera.
it's an on-camera
Two
show.
cameras, yes. And then I did Reno 911, if you guys are out there.
Exactly.
As I said before, the voice of Dad's Fear was pretty much James Garcia. Sir, step down on that bench. Okay, just get down and then the foot is down, the foot is down. It's basically Garcia. I stole from myself.
There you go. Exactly.
It's okay to steal from yourself.
It's all right. It's all right. And then now you also before you said Rocko was your first voice. What were you
Rocko
doing
was
before you do before that?
I was doing stand-up comedy on the road, and I was always
you do
doing
a ton of
characters.
stand-up comedy.
I'm doing more nowadays, the kids, family, new material, as it were. And I was hanging out. Tom Kenny was doing stand-up in San Francisco. I get this audition.
Who's Tom Kenny?
Tom Kenny is the voice of...
Hey, Patrick.
What's that? I don't get it. What is
It's
that?
a sponge guy. He lives in the bottom of the ocean.
Okay.
Something like that.
We don't use our hands.
Oh, SpongeBob!
Rectangles.
Slobberbaki is amazing.
Remember, Patrick, come home at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. 12 o'clock. Midnight.
I still don't know what you guys are talking about.
It's a show.
It's a show. It's
got-
blue
yeah.
background like this.
Yeah,
They film it
exactly.
here.
Okay, I only stay here.
This is
so I
called.
don't
We're
know.
changing it to Sponge Bubble, by the way.
Oh, got it.
Sponge
Okay.
Bubble.
Sponge Bubble SquarePants.
So I was doing comedy, and there was an audition for this thing called Rocko's Modern Life. Joe Murray, San Jose Mercury panel cartoonist, developed this character about a wallaby, loosely based on himself, living on his own for the first time. And I made a push, play, and record cassette thing in a kitchen.
Yeah.
And handed it in. I got this audition and tried Bruno Kirby. They didn't want Australian. I was like,
Hey, I'm Rocko. Why don't you try this, for example?
and then I tried.
That's a good Bruno
a
Kirby.
Woody-
No one knows who Bruno Kirby is
No
anymore.
hablo inglés.
So wait. So Mr. Zero knew you were getting divorced?
Bachi de tutti bachi.
Wait. So Mr. Zero knew? Mr. Zero knew.
Yeah.
I'm also good at radio myself.
Bruno Kirby.
Good morning, Vietnam. I tried a Woody Allen thing, and then I said,
Oh, the thing about Carlos, I can throw anything at him and he can do the voice. Like a kid,
Or attempt it.
Because kids love, as we know, kids of today love Maury Amsterdam from the Dick Van Dyke.
Hey guys, what's going on?
I know every person you guys are saying right now.
You have Maury
Yeah.
Amsterdam?
You know Maury Amsterdam. Come on.
Because kids love Maury Amsterdam.
But you know what? The Billy West had said this, that like a bad impression is actually an original voice. Because Crocker is a bad Richard Dreyfuss.
I don't like these hanging on the rod. You know, there's a spaceship out there.
This was not
But
a
Gene
boat.
Wilder's pretty good. Said again. Took a good impression, mixed it with a bad impression.
You
and-
stole fizzy lifting drinks.
Montgomery Burns.
It's a really bad Montgomery Burns at all is an original character.
You've made
Yeah, it's cool.
you've made an enemy today.
You've made it.
Hey, Carlos. Speaking of reading children's books.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect segue.
Huh?
I have in my possession here several children's books. I have Green Eggs and Ham. Mm-hmm. I have Are You My Mother?
That would be.
And I have The Things You Can Think by Dr. Seuss. This one's by P.D. Eastman. We all know Are You My Mother? But what I want to do is have you read one of these books.
Sure.
As Mr. Crocker.
Okay.
Why don't we start with Green Eggs and Ham?
Green Eggs and Ham.
So this
Flip
is
to any page?
But, yeah, just start
Like a magician's trick. I want you to pick a page.
Wow.
Tell me to stop.
Start at the beginning. The
And
beginning.
Stop, okay?
Oh, perfect.
Wait, now before you start, I want to give it the proper introduction. Welcome to Fireside Theater. You're gonna put some harpsichord music in
Yes.
here. That's a piano, that old fancy piano.
I'll sit down.
We have before us now, being read, the Shakespearean version of Green Eggs and Ham, as read by Mr. Denzel Crocker.
I do not like them, Sam. I am. I do not like green eggs and ham. I like girlfriend. Would you like them here or there? I would not like them here or there. I would not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam. I am. How many times do I have to tell you? I hate green eggs and ham and fairies.
Good. Carlos Alazraqui. There we go. Fabulous. One more. I just want you to read the title of this book as Mr. Crocker. As Mr. Crocker.
Very desperately.
I've been looking all over. Are you my mother?
Hit the word mother really. This is me directing Carlos in the voice. Hit the word, yell the word mother.
Are you my mother?
Where are you? Where are you? Someone
Answer me! And don't give me green eggs and ham! I'll Dr. Seuss you.
Now I want you to read the things you can think as Billy Crystal Ball.
Oh, okay.
Look, do Billy Crystal Ball and then go into Juandissimo
How about
Magnifico.
every sentence change voices? So go into Rocko, go into Crocker.
Oh,
Mr.
okay.
Go Juandissimo,
Yeah.
do Dinkleberg.
We'll do pages or sentence?
Just do just every sentence, change voice. But it's the things you can think.
You can think up some birds. That's what you can do. You can think about yellow. Or think about blue. You can think about red. You can think about pink.
2 more sentences.
You can think of a horse. The things you can think.
Let's end with Crocker.
Oh, the things you can think of. If only you try. If you try, you can think up a guff going by.
Perfect. Excellent. That's
Carlos Alazraqui.
Yes.
That's
So proud
amazing.
of people,
That's amazing.
Crocker.
Yes.
You know, I never had an actor read children's books like that before, but that was amazing. I wonder if Tara would have done that. Did Tara have agreed to do that? Would she have agreed to do that?
If you had a close up.
Probably, yeah.
Doesn't gotta need
Can I get a
close-up.
close-up, please? Yeah, exactly. Hey, well, any more questions for Carlos?
Yeah, I just want to end with Static Cling, talking about that a little bit.
Static Cling is the
What's up with
Rocko
that?
44-minute film that we did, and
Now, you say it's not going to be out for a while? What's going
it's
on?
not going to be out before. They're holding it right now. I did Harold as well. I played Eduardo.
Oh, yeah.
And if you watch the movie, I won't give away any secrets. But I played Eduardo.
Eduardo's an Irish guy?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly right.
Oh, did you expect Rocko to come back? Was this a
We did it.
surprise for you?
I remember being at lunch with Justin
Now,
Baker.
who's Justin? Tell us who Justin is.
Justin is.
You brought a guy in here with you
He
today.
is a church organist. He is a former school teacher of music history,
Wow.
and also now doing social media. So he's a jack of all
Let's
trades.
give it up for Justin.
yeah.
Justin Baker,
Another
ladies and
round of
So
gentlemen.
applause.
I have Jay Steele. You have Justin
Baker.
Justin Baker. There you go. So
We got
close.
He runs camera?
Jay's going on.
JJ.
He's keeping the noise down
He's
outside.
helping the camera. And, he's
Got me in the carpool lane on the way over here.
nicely. Very
No,
nice.
he's extremely talented and patient with my actor mind.
Because old guys like us need young guys around us to help us
Static
carry
Cling.
things.
We're in an old folks home. What? Static Cling, of
Well,
course. Yeah.
hey,
Hey, don't interrupt.
I do not like them.
Surprise.
I want caramel. So Static Cling is coming out
I wanna
sometime in
move to Florida.
2018. The storyline goes, I was in a restaurant with Justin, and in walks Joe Murray, Martin Olson, and Doug Lawrence. I went, something's going on here. We're doing a Rocko movie, and that was like a year and a half ago. We recorded
I know
a year.
Martin Olson.
Yeah, Martin's wonderful. We recorded
guy.
in November. We went to Comic-Con. We did a promo, thinking it'll come out early 2019. Folks, we're thinking it's going to be after Comic-Con. So July 2019, August 2019. Rocko and his friends were last seen hurtling out into space in the 1996 time frame, and now they get sucked back into the 21st century. And how does Rocko and his friends and the big heads?
You know what? We're fish out of water. The tagline of the thing is the 21st century is a very dangerous century.
So how does Rocko deal with the new technology?
That's right. That's right.
But he was always a cool guy.
Rocko was like, just go with the flow, man.
Yeah, I love the preview they already put out where there's like iPhones and stuff.
The iPhone 9.
Yeah.
I got the iPhone 8. I got the iPhone 9. And iPhone 10. Oh, brother.
There we go.
And there's a Busy Buzz coffee shop, and then there's what's it called? Buzzbucks coffee shop, and then right across the street, another Buzzbucks coffee shop.
Exactly right.
How
Just
would
dealing with-
Rocko, if he comes back to our century, react to Speech Bubble?
Oh, everything's so blue.
Yeah.
Wow. What a cool
What's
place.
are these sitting in? What's a podcast?
I guess if they have to do construction, you have to roll with it.
That's how he would deal.
Let's not get upset, Heifer.
Is
They're
Heifer-
just trying to make the building look better.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good Rocko. I better watch myself.
Not
But I
as good
still
as
got Billy Crystal. Stay away!
Wazowski. At 12 noon, the scare floor will be what?
Painted?
No, empty, you idiot. Speaking of empty, I think are we done with the
Oh
podcast?
yeah,
Are we
this is
done?
Awesome. Yeah.
It's a great ending.
Anything else to ask Carlos Alazraqui? Oh, by the way, where are you going to be appearing? You do some dates.
Oh, yes.
Don't you have dates?
In
You
Savannah,
gotta post it right there with dates.
Savannah, Georgia. I'll be doing the Savannah Con February 24th.
Is that down
and
anywhere
25th.
near Emeryville?
To the right.
I don't know about Emeryville.
Way to the right. In Indiana Con, I'll be there 3:30 through 4:1.
3:30 means not the time 3:30. You mean March 30th.
No, 3:30 the time.
No,
March
yeah.
30th through April 1st. And then July 13th through 15th, I'll be back in Georgia. However, I will be in Atlanta for the Atlanta Comic-Con. So y'all come out and visit me down there.
I might have to come down and visit you down. I might have to come down
Yeah,
myself.
we'll do a live
Come on down to
Crocker.
Atlanta.
Yeah, come on down to
Comic-Con
Atlanta,
down
Georgia.
there. Yep. And you got to come down here. We're going to bring Jace down to Emeryville. Let him meet some of the Emeryville folks.
There's no place I'd rather be than in hot July than in Atlanta. No humidity at all.
No, gosh, no.
Yeah.
No. Hey, well, this has been, I guess this has been, should we give Carlos a round of applause?
Oh, yes, another one. Yeah.
Another round of applause.
I'm adding in a sound effect.
We're adding in
right
sound
now.
effects.
There's a huge crowd of
We're adding in a car crash.
Yes,
right now.
Freddie Mercury singing "We Will Rock You."
A chicken screech. And what sound effect do you want to add in? Oh, a real sound
Girlfriend.
effect.
Hello, girlfriend.
Straight from Carlos himself.
Oh, social media at Carlos Alazraqui Twitter, Carlos Alazraqui Official on Facebook.
That's my Twitter. Well, we can have the same Twitter. Come
Wait a
on.
minute.
And also Instagram, Carlos Alazraqui.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Look at you.
And YouTube too. I have a YouTube channel, Carlos Alazraqui.
Oh, yeah, I love like the ones you've been posting. With,
Simply
like,
Stupid.
Yeah, Simply Stupid.
We do
stuff.
things like
How to make toast. Take your bread, drop it in the toaster, and wait. See you later.
That's it.
Yes.
That's awesome.
we did in Winslow.
How to open your car door. Take the handle, open and walk out. What are you doing?
We do Simply
That's
Stupid.
perfect. Yeah,
I need to be on your podcast.
Yes.
Whenever you get one, I'm sure you're going to
I'll
get one
get
soon. Get
Or
one.
you could be on Simply Stupid. Just say one
Because
line.
I am way stupid. I
Yeah.
qualify big time.
Well, I'll be calling Butch because my daughter's 6 and 4, and he's on the other end of it. So, Butch, what do I do now? They're saying this. Just ignore it; it'll fade away.
It'll fade away.
Yeah.
Just feed them. They'll go away.
Feed them, they'll go
Feed
away,
them, go
yes.
away. Just don't give them phones till they're about 12.
Yeah, thank you. My
don't give
daughter
him
is
any-
clamoring for a
Don't
phone
need
right
a
now.
phone. Don't need a phone
Don't
right
need
now.
a phone.
No.
Don't need it.
He doesn't
Don't
let
have
me
it.
have a phone.
Yeah, but give me your phone.
I'm going to have a
I don't have
little.
one. You
Give me the
gotta
phone.
I'm going to have a wall chart that says, Butch says you don't need this, you don't need this, you don't need this.
Who's this Butch evil person? Then your daughter grows up to and wants to kill me. when she
Kick
gets
you in the
older.
shin.
Yeah.
I hate you, Butch Hartman.
Years later, Carlos's daughter.
Yes.
All right. Hey, well, this has been Speech Bubble. I feel it's been an epic podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We should. What should
definitely.
we title? We got to come up with a cool title.
yeah.
We come up with it on the air. Like, what's our cool title?
How about
Crocker
Carlos
Bubble.
Alazraqui is not in this episode?
Yes.
And then they'll be like, oh, he's
What?
not? And then
Oh,
they'll be
he's
like,
not?
Reverse
Click, click, click,
psychology,
click,
and they'll be
click,
like, wait, is he? Is he not? And then they'll watch it.
Or we call it.
Reverse psychology.
Are you my mother? All caps.
Yeah,
Oh,
are you
that's
my
good.
mother?
Are you my mother?
Yeah.
Find out in this podcast.
Yeah.
Well, this has been Speech Bubble. I want to thank my amazing guest, Carlos Alazraqui.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
and
Butch.
all the voices you bring with you each and every
Thank you. And all
place you go.
thanks for helping launch my career.
Hey, man. Well, thanks for continuing to help launch mine because you always made it funny. So you made it easy.
And thanks for
Thank
letting
you.
me sit in between you two.
Yes. Well,
Absolutely. You've been a
Just
great
like-
moderator.
You're welcome,
Yes.
Jimmy. Was it Jimmy?
Sure.
Mace?
Okay.
Or Jacob?
No.
Jason?
I don't know.
All right, this is Speech Bubble, guys. Thanks so much for listening. See you next week. Roll the theme music. Hey, Heart fans! Subscribe here to keep up with me, Danny, Timmy, Dudley, Bunsen, and the Noob Network, my new app full of cartoons, shows, and games. Download it here. Click over here to watch my most recent video, and here to start a playlist related to this video. Whoa! Check out that awesome fan art! To be featured here, use hashtag HeartFanArt and tag me. I'm on every social media platform known to man. Cartoon Butch out. Pencil drop.